I got more good news for you.
What's up?
So people often talk about the secret Trump voter or the shy Trump voter. Mm-hmm. There's actually a research that was done that came out at the end of August that asked the question, how do you figure out if people are actually lying to the pollsters to figure out if the numbers make sense? Because what are you supposed to do? You ask somebody like, who are you voting for? And they say, Biden. Are you lying to me? No. Okay. So how do you know if they're actually lying? So they ask people questions like, do you feel that you can be truthful about, who you would vote for, and see if they said yes or no? Would you be worried at all if, someone asked you how you really felt, yes or no? And what they ended up finding, and it's like 7 PhDs that did this project, 10.1% of the polled voters are likely Trump supporters who are lying about their vote.
Wow.
You know what that means?
That's a 20% swing.
Wow.
So, well, hold on. You've got Biden nationally at 9.2 up in the RCP aggregate. Mm-hmm. Imagine if 10% of the vote was secretly for Trump. Then it would put Trump at plus 1%.
Yeah.
Guess what else?
No, it would put him at plus 11% because Biden would be down 10 and Trump would go up 10.
Right. So Biden's at 50, Trump's at 40. Biden would go to 40 and Trump would go to 50. Get it?
So plus 10.
It is a 20-point swing.
Mean, yeah.
So, but here's what's interesting. The Sunday Express poll that Trump tweeted out, guess what it shows? Trump plus 1.
Huh.
So I'm wondering if when a British company says, how are you voting? They went, nah, it's a British company. I'm voting for Trump. When the Americans call and they're like, hi, I'm an American journalist. Who are you voting for? Biden, I swear. Are you being honest? Yes, please don't come to my house with Antifa. I don't know if people are actually freaking out in that capacity. I'm kind of kidding.
They do. Now, I was in New Hampshire and I knock on this woman's door in the front and she's got a little side area and she doesn't answer the door right away. We're about to leave and she comes out to the side and she's real shy and timid. Young thing too. I'd say like early 30s. And she goes, is my neighbor next door? I said, we didn't knock. We didn't see anybody. And she goes, I have a question for you. She goes, did you know that if you type in Antifa.com, it goes to Joe Biden's? I swear to God.
Yeah, someone just did that.
I swear to God.
It's like not
I know, but still,
right.
The fact is, this woman was so shy and timid about even asking that question and whether or not her neighbor would overhear this conversation.
Yep.
And I just said back to her, the reason why I'm supporting President Donald Trump is because I want law and order. And I want to make sure that we're upholding our laws and defending our police. I really went in on the law and order since that clearly was important to her. But it just shows me those shy voters exist. And she's the suburban woman that doesn't want Antifa or BLM burning down her city. They're out there.
They found that 11% of Republicans were worried about sharing their true opinions.
Yeah.
I'm
sure it's more than that.
I think it was 10.5% of independents were scared and 5.4% of Democrats were scared. All in all, with the entire voter base, they said it was around 10.1% were 10.1% of the shy vote were Trump supporters. Or I got to be very careful with language because I think it was something like 10% of the Trump supporters were saying they weren't voting for Trump. That's basically
okay.
So I don't know if this, like, look, man, the polls right now have Biden like ridiculously up. It's just insane. And I got to be real. If Donald Trump wins with polling where it's at right now, like if it stays where it is, it will be probably one of the most insane historical American presidency upsets ever.
It won't stay the same.
For sure. I think as we get closer to the election, things will change. But I feel like the media is going to come out and be like, we did a new weighted poll and Joe Biden's up 73. Donald Trump's at 1% approval and the rest is all Joe Jorgensen. And people are going to... I'm exaggerating, obviously.
Joe's going to win Utah.
Do you think
like they did with... No.
Oh, Gary Johnson.
No. Like they did with Evan McMullen. Remember when they said that he was going to win Utah and they had that pipe dream? The wait for those. Those theories are going to come out.
It's going to be great.
Crowder was asking, are polls actually just propaganda? I think it was Crowder.
Yes.
Or are they actually referencing what is coming? I think they are propaganda.
They are.
Well, it's a fact. Several studies have been done. There's a large faction of people who will vote for who they think is going to win. So when the polls keep coming out saying it's Biden, what they're trying to do is just convince. I think the polls, for the most part, there's no conspiracy, but there are weighted polls where they're very clearly favoring Democrats.
That sounds like a conspiracy.
I think if a media company is doing a weighted poll, like, look, there's Democrat pollsters. That's not
trying to make it look like a Democrat's winning. So
but they do
more
that all the
Democrats
time.
They're manipulating.
They're conspiring to get people to vote Democrat. Conspiracy 101.
So I think what ends up happening is if Joe Biden if the media keeps saying over and over again he's winning, then they're trying to demoralize Trump supporters, which I don't think will work because
it has the opposite effect.
Right. People I think Trump supporters don't care about the polls for the most part. I think voting for Donald Trump is an FU to the establishment. So it's like that you have that one opportunity to tell Joe Biden and the Obama administration to shove it, and it's hitting that Donald Trump button. Mm-hmm. That's what people want. And the media too. Like, because I really am sick. Okay, man, I've been ranting on this nonstop. Brian Stelter of CNN is claiming now on mainstream cable television that there is a government conspiracy between the military pilots, the Secret Service, all of the doctors at Walter Reed, Donald Trump, his staff, to cover up that he's actually really sick. Even though the president walked out of the hospital of his own volition and then waved to everybody, then what happens? The Guardian puts out a video and they're like, Donald Trump is gasping for air. And it's Trump just going like he's like standing there and he like opens his mouth, takes a breath. He's like, and then he waves and they're like, oh, he's gasping.
Wait, aren't these the same people that criticize him for having 2 scoops of ice cream?
Yeah.
Well, that was supposed to be tongue in cheek, but the problem is many of them ended up taking it seriously.
Seriously.
So so it was funny because there's a woman at CNN who does kind of jokey segments, and she was like, Donald Trump gets 2 scoops of ice cream, well, everyone gets 1. It's supposed to be silly. But then you ended up with I think Don Lemon did a segment about it. He's like, did you see this? 2 scoops of ice cream?
Oh, gosh.
Did you see the salt shaker one?
No.
Where they were like, Trump's salt and pepper shakers are bigger than everyone else's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe that stuff, dude. The CNN challenge is to turn on Fox News during a major international news story and then flip to CNN. So I did this several times. It's like I turn on Fox News and it's like riots erupting in Iran. The government says this, and I'm like, CNN. Well, but Donald Trump was saying, and I'm like, okay. Then like a week later, I turn on Fox News and they're like, storms are coming this season. We can expect major flooding. I'm like, it's the weather, but the weather's important to people. Turn on CNN. Well, when Donald Trump said, that's the CNN challenge. You turn on CNN, it is just Donald Trump. But anyway, here's my point. Unhinged conspiracies about a government cover-up. If there was a cover-up of Donald Trump's health, that would mean the doctors are in on it. The AP photographer who took pictures of Trump was in on it. The pilots of the helicopter was in on it. The Secret Service, they're all in on it. There's no conspiracy. Trump was just not really that sick. He went to the hospital because he's the president, and they were like, well, he's got some mild symptoms. He should go to the hospital. And now they're pumping that out with impunity. Social media doesn't care. They let him do it. So that Donald Trump button isn't just about Trump. It's about the entire establishment, the Democrats and the media.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like when you vote for Donald Trump, I take extreme pleasure in knowing that I'm voting against Joy Behar, Alyssa Milano, and Jim Acosta. Like all at once. Like that, I already voted early and in person, so my vote is locked in. Oh, yeah. I voted with mom and dad. Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Can you say where you're from? Do people know where you're
from?
Oh,
yeah. I live in Fairfax, Virginia. I voted in Northern Virginia.
Right on.
So there, you can. I didn't know you could do that. You can go vote in person
early and in person.
Oh, maybe I should do that.
Voted at the Fairfax Government Center. Yeah. Virginia?
No. Back in Jersey.
Okay, because Joyzy, governor up there, he's doing some mischief. You guys only get to vote by mail, by the way. However, to everybody in Jersey that's watching, don't send it through the USPS. You can drop off your ballot in person at the drop-off box. And then that way you're still kind of voting in person.
One of the big problems, though, is that you got to know all the rules for how the mail-in ballots work.
Oh, it's so tough.
And people have never done it before.
No.
So, like, I was actually watching John Oliver, which is the weirdest thing, okay?
Oh.
No. Well, yeah. when you walked in, I was watching the Gravel Institute. You see,
True.
I watch what the left is talking about.
I watch The View sometimes.
Well, I feel sorry for you. You're enduring very serious trials and tribulations for the American people. I respect that. Anyway, what was I talking? I was watching John Oliver, and he talks about how some of the ballots have a secret envelope. You put it in, and then put the secret envelope in another envelope. And most people have no idea, like, what? Doesn't make sense. So, interestingly about the John Oliver thing is that he's ragging on Trump, but then talking about how mail-in voting was broken. He was like, 500,000 ballots rejected, and this is why it's so important. And I'm like, yo, that was the Democrats. The Republicans said, don't do it. It's broken. So who are you mad at?
He's like the lost stepchild. Not there's anything wrong with being a stepchild of Jon Stewart. So there's some semblance of legitimacy to him.
It's some. They took Jon Stewart and then they made a Jon Stewart mold of this here's Jon Stewart's formula, and it's not. You know what really offended me about the John Oliver segment is that he was like, in 1980, people actually started showing up to polls with revolvers and armbands to guard, the Republicans sent them out. And he's like, which is basically what the Nazis were doing with revolvers and armbands and threatening the polls. And then it shows like Germany, like with arrows pointing to Poland. And I was like, bro, they didn't have revolvers. They had Lugers. Come on, get your guns right. I'm not even a gun person. I know that Germans had, like they weren't using revolvers back then. It's an impressive weapon. But the jokes fell flat, to say the least. But, I guess long story short with that segment is I saw this lefty dude who posted it, and I was like, I don't understand who you're mad at. Like, you watch this segment, and he's basically saying mail-in voting is completely, broken. Bro, that's your fault. You keep screaming that Donald Trump is claiming the election's going to be, fraudulent or, improper or inaccurate. He was right. Now John Oliver's complaining about it. Okay, fine. Let's play the game. Trump said, without evidence, and John Oliver said, also without evidence apparently, that mail-in voting is going to have problems. Because if you're telling me that Trump said it without evidence, then why are we giving a free pass to John Oliver? How about this? Whenever Donald Trump says it, put a little asterisk and then show the clip of John Oliver saying exactly it. Just tweet that out. Like, here's Trump, and then right underneath it is John Oliver like ranting and showing you the same thing. Maybe then people will get it. Will understand it's all broken. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.